So starting out, we're just gonna roll those shoulders back. If you're just settling in, it's fine. You're not missing anything. We're just slowly warming up that body. And then we're gonna roll the shoulders forward. And then we're gonna place one hand to the floor and just reach that top arm over. Come up a few inches and then come down a little bit lower. And notice this hip is not lifting up. Make sure to keep it nice and anchored. Reach, stretch, pull, try to lengthen that arm once you feel a little bit warmer, and then we're gonna switch sides. So placing that hand, lift the arm up, reach over, up a few inches, come down a little bit lower, center, and then this time, same thing on the first side. We're gonna keep that arm extended. Hopefully you feel a little bit looser. You can get that arm longer, keep it by your ear. We're gonna do a tiny twist. I'm just shifting my shoulders to face down toward the mat. I'm gonna open it back up. Repeat that, shoulders face down. Open it back up. Get that arm long, and one more time, twist. And open, switching sides, up and over. A little twist. Feeling that rib cage, waist, hips kind of opening up and twisting. Back up. And then this time, instead of reaching up overhead, we're going to reach across the body, extending, lengthening that arm, get it as long as you can. And then switching sides. Reach it across, shoulder down, extend it. Two more each side, so reach across, try to get that arm locked out, extended. Feeling that mid, back of the shoulders, stretch and expand. One more time each side, reach, reach, reach. And last time, reach and extend. Reach, reach, reach. Back to center. And now from here, doesn't matter which leg is in front, we're just gonna slowly walk the hands forward. Try not to come up onto those shins. Try to keep those glutes anchored down, walk it forward. Just do a little bit of shifting. So as I lift my shoulders, shifting, feel a little bit of a stretch in that lower back. Walk your hands over to one side. Back to center, over to the other side. Back to center. And again, just shift. So when I do that, feel it in that lower back. If you have any back pain, this might be a perfect stretch for you. Just gentle, easy, not forcing anything. Slowly coming back up. And then we're gonna switch the leg that's in front. So you're gonna feel whatever leg is in front, you're gonna feel a deeper stretch in that hip. So walk the hands forward again. Maybe feeling the front leg, that outer thigh tightens up a little bit. So once these stretches are done, should feel a little bit more opened up as I reach across in the direction that my front toe is pointing and feeling that lower back stretch. Now, I'm going to be very careful with it. I'm not going to force it. So I kind of come up out of it and then walk out a little bit further, and that just helps the muscles relax without being forced into it. And up and back forward, back to center, over to the other side. So once we walk in the direction of that knee, it's a little bit less of a stretch. It still feels good into that mid-lower back. Back to center, slowly come up. And then picking up the leg that's in front, we're just gonna shift it side to side. Loosening up those hips. Try to sit up nice and tall. And when we just do these simple movements, it's a perfect time to connect with your breath. Make sure you're breathing. And switching sides. Breathing through it. Using this time to just pause and breathe so that hopefully during the day when your life gets busy or crazy, you can come back to this moment and just recenter. All right, and now focusing on the upper body, so the lower body, you can sit however is most comfortable. If it's not comfortable for you to sit on the floor, you can sit on a few books or a couple yoga blocks. What we're gonna do is we're gonna reach this arm up overhead, doesn't have to be completely straight, grabbing that wrist and then just leaning side. Come up a few inches, lower down. Come up a few inches, lower down. Keep that chest open. It's really easy to want to turn. Try to imagine you're between two pieces of glass, so just side to side movement. Now hold it here, grab that wrist and try to get that arm straight. Feel that long stretch all the way down the side into your lower back to center, release it, and switching sides. That arm comes up, grab the wrist, and pull. Come up a few inches, down, come up a few inches, and down, and up a few inches, and last time, reach it, elongate it, try to get it as long as you can, feel it all the way down the waist into that lower back to center, turn the palms out, open up the chest, pull 3, 2, 1, roll the shoulders back, 3, 2, 1, and forward, 3, 2, 1. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you weren't here, it's a floor and core work day today. So we're gonna do core stretches and then we're gonna get on our back throughout class and we're gonna do some core. So laying on our backs, we're gonna start out in tabletops. Now, because we're still getting warmed up, we're gonna ease into this slowly and then we can, I'll give you options to make it a little more challenging. So you're gonna drop one toe to the floor and then bring it back in and then switch. So notice I'm keeping my legs in that 90-degree angle. The movement's really just coming from the hips and I'm engaging my core as tight as I can, trying to feel those lower abdominals, which is what wrap around our entire core. Those are the muscles we want to be the strongest. Now, if you want to make it more challenging, you can let that leg go straight and back in. One more level to make it a little more advanced. You can lift your hands off the floor and peel your shoulder blades off the mat. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold it here. Whether you're in tabletops or not, stay here, bend the leg or extend it. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Switching sides. 3, 2, 1. Hug those knees in and just rock side to side. Now for a little bit of core and hamstring stretch, we're going to lower the one foot onto the floor. The other one is going to extend up towards the ceiling. Now you can grab your hamstring, you can grab your calf, you can use an elastic band or a towel to help guide it. But we're going to do little hamstring stretches and then release it. So we're going to warm it up and then we're going to incorporate the core for this. Bring it in, release it. Last time, give it that hold. If you need to pull yourself up, find a happy balance between stretching and holding. Extend that bottom leg. If you need to bring it to tabletops, that's completely fine. Tabletop is a little bit easier. Not easier, just less weight on the core. Otherwise, extend that leg. And as you're extending that leg, hovering it above the floor or in tabletop, our core is fighting to hold this balance. And I'm hugging that leg in towards my chest. I'm trying to not be so much nose to knee, but kind of gazing up toward that ankle to try to keep my neck in alignment as best as I can. 3, 2, 1, release it. So a little bit of multitasking there, stretching and core work. And the leg up, grab that calf. Remember, you can always grab the hamstring. Just try not to grab behind the knee. We don't want to pull on anything, and we also don't want to force it to bend. So even if the leg's out here, do your best. find that balance, find that stretch, and then option to bring that opposite leg into tabletop or fully extended. I'm gonna choke it up onto my calf, peel my shoulder blades off the mat, gaze up towards the ankle, and hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, hug it in a little more, 3, 2, 1, and release it. You can do little knee drops side to side, stretch it out. Hello, Elsa. Where's your baby? You probably can't see her. I always wish you could see the animals, but they're too far away. The mommy that just had the baby a couple weeks ago, and mommy and baby get separated often because mommy is a good worker and just eats all day, and baby is very curious. But they find each other eventually. Actually, the baby tends to hang out with the cows a lot, which is so cute. All right, I find her napping with the cows more than hanging out with her mom. All right, shoulder above the elbow. We're gonna bend the bottom leg, lift it up, and then flex and point. So warming up the foot while keeping the leg as straight as you can get it. So starting to activate that core in a side position. There's Elsa, you can probably see her. And what we're gonna do now, work the legs and the glutes. Extend that leg out like someone's pulling on the leg, and then you're gonna bring it back in. Extend it, bring it back in. One more time, hold that extension. Try to notice my leg is parallel to the floor. It's not up here. Hold it, lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. These are some of my favorite, most challenging exercises. I've been doing this flex the foot for about 7 or 8 years now, and these are always challenging, which I love. Point the toe. It's that working in the lengthened position that is so challenging. Flex the foot, and the example I always use is when you pick something up heavy, you don't use a straight arm, right? Bring the leg in, bend and kick. You always bring it in, so when it's closer to your center, it's easier, you have more support. When we're working in that lengthened position away from our center, it really challenges us. One more time, hold it here and pulse. So trying to get that straight leg, like you're trying to touch your toe to your nose. And then we're gonna, before we quit, we're gonna extend it back out. We're gonna lift. We're gonna draw a little square. So lift up, back, down, forward. We're gonna do 2 slow. Oh my gosh, it's burning. 4 quick. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then reverse it. This is it, final burnout. Back, up, forward, down. That leg should feel like 100 pounds. 4 quick. 4, 3, great example of how challenging body weight exercises can be. And kick it just to stretch it out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we stretch. So again, while we were working the leg, this is a great solid oblique work, really challenging those side muscles. Placing the hand on the mat, we're just gonna do it. Feels good to your back, shifting the shoulders, twisting the back. And one more time, if it feels good, you can just stretch like someone's pulling on your arm and your leg. And then before we go to the other side, we're gonna continue to work the core. So remember, the core is not just abdominal muscles. It's the glutes, it's the back, it's the abdominals. So placing your hands on the mat, I like to kind of have my thumb knuckles right in line with my chest. And I'm just gonna slowly lift up. I'm keeping my hands on the mat, and then I'm gonna lower down. So we're gonna eventually get into Cobra, some exercises like that, but to just warm up the back, we don't wanna just immediately put it into that hyperextension. Lift up one more time. So I'm keeping my elbows in, keeping my, not doing a full extension just yet. Okay, now if it feels okay to your back, go ahead and come up a little bit higher. I'm just gonna go straight into full extension. I'm gonna shift. And then I'm gonna come back down. 2 more just like that. Lift up, stretch. little bit of a twist. And again, you can always stay down here or come onto your forearms. That's a great modification. You can still get a small hyperextension, opening up the core that we worked while also engaging the back muscles. Let's go one more time. And I'm gonna lift my hips off a little bit more. So I'm just getting a little bit more pressure into the shoulders. And then lowering back down. Now, I'm gonna bring my hands in front, resting my forehead on my hands. Let's focus on lifting the legs. So, legs, notice right now they're just relaxed. Now I'm gonna point my toes and tighten up my quads. And I'm gonna lift my legs up. Can you hear mommy and baby talking? Up and down. Lift up, squeeze the glutes. Now I'm feeling this in my quads, my glutes, my hamstrings. Lift up, squeeze, and down. Because we want all those muscles to be balanced out. So we want strong glutes, strong quads, strong hamstrings, all those things to support our core, but we don't want them super tight. So because we're working this in a lengthened position, it's helping to build that long, lean muscle. One more time, lift, pulse up, 1, 2, notice my movement is super, super tiny. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Go ahead and take a few breaths, kind of shake out those legs, shift, and to finish up before we switch sides for our leg lifts, we're going to do the upper body. So we were targeting the glutes, the lower body. Now we're going to do, just to protect the lower back, we'll do a couple different levels, but starting out, we're going to keep our head attached to our forehead attached to the hands. And legs are going to stay pressed into the mat. You're going to lift up, and you're still going to think about squeezing the glutes. So you're going to feel this in your mid, lower back, and lower down. Lift up, contract, and the abdominals are working super hard through here. Lower down. Lift up, contract. Lower down. Lift up, contract. Now you can stay there, lift and lower, or you can hold it and extend the arms, bring it in, lower down. Now as the arms extend, our core works harder. Remember what I was saying earlier, as it reaches away from our center, arms extend, the core fights to keep it in control. One more time, either isometric hold here, isometric hold here for 4, option to lift the legs at the same time, 3, 2, 1, lower down, and let's just find ourselves into a nice, solid child's pose. Those are movements that I don't incorporate in a lot of my classes, but whenever I do, I try to make a mental note to do it more often because they're really good for just keeping a solid, strong core, which again, helps with long-term balance, preventing us from losing balance, mobility, range of motion, core strength, preventing injuries, helping with posture, just all the most important things. And then while we're here, let's go into all fours. Big cat and cow stretch. Lift. I did pull-ups in my workout earlier today, and I can totally feel those lats working, which is awesome. Exactly where you want those muscles to work. Hello, Annie. Hi. Oh, you're Katrin. Where's Annie? All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. So I didn't mention this on the first slide, but if this bothers your shoulder or your neck at all, you're welcome to come down onto your arm. Just make sure you're never in that in-between point where the neck muscles are being pulled on. So shoulder right above the elbow, we're going to bend the outer thigh is facing up, and we start with that out and in, out and in. And I actually like to put my hand on my waist as I warm up to feel that those muscles are really working. Now hold this extension, lift. 2, 3, 4. Remember, you know you're in that right position because flex the foot, the leg is very limited in its range of motion. If you're pulled in here, leg can come up. If you're out here, that's not going to happen. 3, 2, 1. Bring it in, point, extend, lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold that waist, feel it working, flex the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now bend and kick. 1, 2, 3, and really try to keep that chest open. It's easy to want to round, it's a lot easier, but as you keep that chest open, core works harder. Now to finish up the hard part, extend, draw those squares. 2 slow, up, back, down. It's also easy to want to turn our foot out. Keep the toes pointed towards me. Now 4 quick. 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse it. Go back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward. This is it. 4 quick. 4, 3, 2, 1, and bend and kick for 4, just to stretch it out. 3, 2, 1, and stretch. Remember, you can do a little bit of a twist. One of my favorite stretches. You can also lay down on your arm and just have arm and leg pulled, lengthened. This feels like someone's just pulling my body apart, and I'm getting a nice deep stretch in my sore lower back. Okay, so now we're gonna finish up with one more core exercise, but before we do that, we're gonna do one of my favorite hip stretches. So we're gonna start out facing side, and then we're gonna turn towards the camera. So to make sure that you're turning properly and your back isn't gonna be towards me, what I recommend is the first leg that we're gonna stretch is the leg that is furthest from your camera. So that when we go to the side, it's just a simple sit back on the hip. It's not the end of the world if you'd use the wrong leg, it's just easier. And then you don't forget which leg you've done. So I'm in my pigeon pose. Remember, with pigeon, don't feel like you need to force this leg into a 90-degree angle. And just shift. Shifting, twisting. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then what we're gonna do is, actually before we twist, come onto the forearms. And again, just shift. And come up onto those back toes, lift the knee off the ground, and pretend like you're trying to force that heel into the back wall, and get that leg as straight as you can, and then lower it back down. So really good for those hip flexors. If you're a runner or if you're sitting all the time, these leg muscles, I mean, just in our life in general, lower the knee. One more time, quads and hip flexors get very much overused. Oh, and press that heel back. This is a great stretch for that once you're warming up. Now, we're gonna do that easy, flawless transition, sitting back onto the hip and letting this leg come out to the side. Here, I start to feel, I tend to have super tight hips, so I feel my hip muscles stretching as well as my inner thighs. This is kind of my problem area that I've been working with a chiropractor on, and then just doing my own stretches. So this is one that I find really makes a difference. If you're tight through the groin, hip flexors, hips, up, turn the palm out, twist looking over your shoulder, and I'm using my calf to brace myself. So I'm pressing against and I'm twisting. That way I have something to resist against. Up and over again. Up, turn, twist. Up and over one last time. Up, turn, twist. Back, center, and we're gonna do that easy transition again. So now we're gonna face the other side and have the leg furthest from me, or furthest from your camera, in front. I had to think about that for a sec. Sometimes I say too much and then I lose my train of thought. Okay, so starting out tall. Now, if this sitting up tall is too, you feel like pressure in your lower back, You can always come down onto your forearms for the entire time. So it just depends on whatever feels good to you. I like being up here to get started because it allows me to shift a little bit, more range of motion. And then as my outer hip starts to loosen up, coming down onto the forearms, same thing, shift and twist. And then before we shift forward, we come onto those back toes, press the heel back, straighten out that leg, lift the knee off the mat. 3, 2, 1, lower down, 2 more just like that. Lift up, press, and because you're balancing, you might also feel those lower abdominals working a tad. Lower down, and one more time. Lift up, press, 3, 2, 1, lower it down. Flawless transition, sit down onto that back hip. Leg comes out to the side now, so make sure you're not turning. Both hips are facing towards the camera. Lift up and over, imagine you're between those two pieces of glass, so it's just a side-to-side movement. Chest is flat. Now place the hand in wherever you're able to reach as a little anchor. Turn and twist, look over the shoulder. Up and over. Up and back. Up and over. Up and back. Up and over. Up and back. And back to center. All right, let's finish up with just a couple minutes of core and then you guys are done. So coming down on our backs once again, we're gonna start out with straight legs if it feels good to you. Otherwise, you can always stay in tabletops. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep one leg up, the other one goes straight out. So we're in that 90-degree angle and then switch and switch. Switch. Now, if you're a 90-degree angle, you're going to do it like so. Again, totally still feeling this, so don't, work with your body, work what feels right. Now, my hands are underneath my hips for added support. To challenge that a little bit more, I like to place my fingertips behind my ears and peel my shoulder blades off the mat, or you can keep your head on the mat. But by removing the hands from our body, it's a little more challenging. 4, 3, 2, hold it, either here or in that 90-degree pose. So when we bend the legs, we take weight off of our center. And then I'm gonna peel my shoulder blades off and pulse or isometric hold. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Lower the feet, knee drop side to side. Feel that core, let it stretch. All right, last set of abdominals. We're gonna extend it straight again, and we're gonna do little crisscrosses. So my legs are going into a narrow V, and then they cross. Open and close. So I'm also feeling those inner thighs, because I'm not just letting the legs open up, I'm keeping it tight. Crisscross. Now you can also do this with a slight bend in the knees, still feeling that core working. You can have your hands under your hips for added support or behind your ears. You can also peel your shoulder blades off. I definitely feel this more in my hip flexors and my quads than anything else. And now keep it even more narrow and just do little crisscrosses. So tiny, tiny movement. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. So those inner thigh exercises are also, inner thighs are kind of part of the core. So having strong, but also nice and stretched out inner thighs is important as well. Let's go ahead and hug our knees in towards the chest. Give our ankles a little attention. Circle the ankles a few times one way, a few times the other way. Flex and point the feet. And let the feet just hang there, swivel. Lengthen your body long if it feels good to you. And we're gonna do our last final breath. So breathe in, tight, tight shoulders, create tension, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. 2 more just like that. Breathe in, tight, tight, tight tension, 3, 2, 1, release. Last time, breathe in, tight, 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 3, 2, 1, release it. And give yourselves a hand. Awesome job today, you guys.